From the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 139 of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my right is Scholar Tarek. What's up, sir?
Well, other than having a few splinters up my ass, considering I went through a table this morning, yeah, I'm actually doing pretty good.
Splendid. And to my left is Scholar Brian. What's up, sir?
My back hurts from all the chairs that got smashed against it at work today.
Oh, that's a shame, because I just spent my day climbing the ladder of life.
Well, in your sakes, climbing the ladder of success for how you went on this TLC prediction.
Oh no. First it began in success, then it transcended life itself. I'm a happy lad.
Yes, we were talking about the... good for you, yippee-ki-yay.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
Shut your mouth. Anyway, we're talking about the results of this past week's WWE Tables, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view. But before we get to all that, let's kick things off with a little bit of backstage news.
Indeed. Let us start our show how we always start our show, by going in to the back, the main doors of the backstage, peeking behind that corner, and checking in on a little
backstage news. TLC man.
Actually, that show was, in my opinion, not meh. But you know what? We'll get to that. You know who's having a not meh kind of week? Linda McMahon.
Linda McMahon is definitely not having a meh kind of week.
In case you haven't been watching the news, apparently Linda McMahon got appointed to incoming President Donald Trump's cabinet as a head of its small business administration. Wow. I did not see this coming.
I kind of did. There were talks about Linda McMahon being on the cabinet, and if she's not going to be on the cabinet, you know that Donald Trump is going to give her a position to stay in good with the McMahon family. So it's like, and I don't know if you would call helping raise the WWE from a smaller promotion to the global phenomenon that it is now enough to grant the opportunity to give her the head of the Small Business Administration. But okay, if Linda McMahon had any business being anywhere in a presidential advisor role or anything like that, this is probably the best place for her.
Yeah, and given how long she seems to have wanted to break into politics, and given her success in the business world, let's face it, she's the only person with the McMahon family name who has not really brought any sort of negative attention to herself.
Except, losing her candidacy to become senator, it was, right?
Senator,
yeah, twice. Connecticut senator twice.
All I'm saying is,
I guess it is kind of
Vince.
At least it is kind of fitting, because who's going to be our president might as well have someone who tried to go into some kind of political position, but was unsuccessful. It's like, it's okay, Linda.
When you say
at your back,
when you say at least it wasn't Vince, okay. When you say at least it wasn't Vince, at least we could joke and guffaw about Vince McMahon. Okay, we could laugh and guffaw about Vince McMahon being anywhere on that cabinet. With Linda McMahon, it makes it all the more real of where we're going.
Yeah, again, it's the kind of move that I personally never saw coming, but oh boy, this is...
Never saw it coming, but if she had any place on the administration at all, this is probably the best fit.
Oh yeah, and I'm sincerely glad that she's going to do it, and I think she's going to do pretty well for small businesses and beyond. It just still doesn't feel real to me just yet. I'll be honest with you.
None of this feels real to me just yet. It's not January yet, so
we got time.
Yeah,
and just in time for the Royal Rumble. How about that?
Indeed.
Oh boy, next month is going to be weird. But anyway, speaking of weird events. We do apparently have news on some new signings in WWE, specifically Kimberly, Heidi Lovelace, and someone who just wrestles under the name Evie. They are scheduled to report to the WWE Performance Center next month.
And in breaking news that just broke this morning, Mickie James signed a multi-year contract for Smackdown Live.
Wow.
So the WWE is going all in on these women wrestlers. And hey, maybe these three, can spruce up the Raw division. Okay, because SmackDown's women's division is fine.
It's pretty.
It doesn't
solid.
need any more. It's getting Mickie James. You can stop there.
I actually do like that it's Mickie James going to SmackDown because, like we just said, the women's division the division itself is very solid compared to if she went to Raw, she would just basically be pushed aside just like everyone else in that division to be like, oh no, all we're focusing on is Sasha and Charlotte.
But for these three, Kimberly and Heidi Lovelace, who is a name I've actually heard.
Yes, both of them have been with Chikara. Kimberly is actually Chikara's first female grand champion. Sorry.
And Evie.
Don't kill me, Eddie Kingston.
It's like you bring them up through NXT for a little bit, and then you put them on Raw, bolster that division, give it more people, so we're not stuck with Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for 9 months at a time. So I think it's a good move. I think that we'll be seeing them on the Raw brand soon enough.
Oh yeah, and even if they do end up going through the NXT system, this, in my opinion, is just the boost that the NXT women's division needs. Because unless they're really waiting for Ember Moon, they really need more lifeblood to challenge Asuka at this point. But anyway, just to kick things off or round it out with a little bit of joviality, apparently, as of this recording, John Cena is going to be hosting this weekend's edition of SNL. Saturday Night Live. How about that?
And let's face it, outside of wrestling, when he's not playing his John Cena hustle, loyalty, respect character, John Cena is a funny dude.
Oh, yes, he is.
Okay, you've seen him in comedies.
Trainwreck,
and the one with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. The one where the stepdad, Will Ferrell's the stepdad. It came out in Christmas.
I know what movie you're talking about.
He had a small.
Why am I blanking on that?
He had a small cameo in that, and it was amazing. But it's like John Cena can host Saturday Night Live and make it believable. So Saturday Night Live's been on a roll. Like it's been good ever since the Dave Chappelle episode, and I think that we can expect good things from a John Cena led Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. I'm definitely going to be checking that one out.
Daddy's Home. That's the movie with him and Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Daddy's Home. He has a small cameo.
That's it. I remember now.
He has a small cameo in a spot that makes a lot of sense and is funny. So it's like if he's going into movies, if his career is winding down in the WWE, which I kind of hope it is, so we can get some new blood in and have it actually work, then his perfect spot should be comedy, television, and movies. He's got comedic talent in spades. If he actually showed it in the WWE, then there might not be as much. Then there might not be as much issues with the character as a lot of people have.
Oh yeah. I'm not really not concerned. As long as they break up the monotony in some way of what John Cena, the wrestling character, used to be, then I think we can expect good things from the guy. I really, really do.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's this week in Backstage News. Let's kick things off with how TLC, the pay-per-view, ended up doing. So first off, we have the pre-show kickoff match, which I just so happened to miss at the time. We had the team of Apollo Crews, the Hype Bros, and American Alpha beating Kurt Hawkins, the Vaudevillains, and the Ascension. Same thing as always. I still feel very bad for the Vaudevillains, but hey, what can you do?
With this lineup, okay, well, I've got to come out and say, like you did, I missed this match because I just didn't care to see it. Okay.
Well, at the time we recorded last week, we had no idea this match even existed because for some reason they decide, you know what, we're just going to announce this match the day of the event because we don't care about this match, so why should the audience care?
They put
Screw you, fantasy bookers.
They throw 10 wrestlers together, and the minute you see American Alpha, you're like, there's your winner. That's it.
Isn't it also kind of sad just to see American Alpha being at a position where they're pretty much facing like low card talent with the Hype Bros and Apollo Crews as their partners versus the Ascension, Kurt Hawkins and the Vaudevillains?
Well, here's the deal. Okay, this goes into a match that's happening in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that we're going to talk about, but they're in a holding pattern right now because of something that a lot of people didn't expect. Okay, we thought American Alpha was going to come up when they did in the draft and be tag team champions by WrestleMania. Now, I don't know if we see that.
Oh, I don't think
the way that they're building up the tag team division that they are building it up now, this is probably the best we're gonna get for American Alpha for a little bit.
It's always been my biggest complaint with SmackDown is that it has a good number of tag teams for their division. It's not a very good sets of teams, minus American Alpha, and now from what it's looking like after this past week on SmackDown, no more Heath Slater and Rhino. I just wish they develop their teams more to a point where we actually care.
Yeah, there's a reason tag teams and Team SmackDown. I was like, come on, man, come on.
It's not that hard to look at.
I'm still in the camp that's very optimistic. It's just a matter of how they feel like building them up and just keeping the rest busy for a while.
Definitely.
Is it the best way to do it? No, but it's not the end of the world either.
I definitely agree. Something happened that they didn't expect. They didn't expect it was going to go over as big as it did. And they had to strike while the iron was hot.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, that puts teams like American Alpha, the Vaudevillains, and the Usos, the heel Usos, who were amazing. I never thought.
Just sucks that I think it was Jey Uso that hurt his ankle at a house show, so now they're on the bench again.
Jey Uso and Naomi.
And Naomi?
Both of them hurt their ankles at a house show.
Naomi I didn't know about. Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
So it's like, expect big things from these tag teams soon.
Hopefully.
But when you have something like you have right now, you have to strike while the iron is hot. And that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of tag teams, that'll be a nice segue to our first official match on the card. We have Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton beating Slater and Rhino for the tag team titles.
And let me bring this back to what Tarek and I were kind of arguing about last week about the usage of Luke Harper.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
okay.
I thought you were meaning just about the pre-show. I'm like, we weren't really arguing, were we?
This, okay, was exactly what I was talking about. Okay, you don't need to team them together to bring the story, to further the story of Luke Harper and Randy Orton. What they did here in this match was all I needed. Have Luke Harper take a hit that was supposed to be for Randy Orton. Okay, so I'm like, they might not be on 100% good terms right now, but it shows that Luke Harper is a team player, and it gives Randy Orton a certain amount of trust.
Actually, considering how the match ended, it looks like they're at 100%. And with how they reacted together on SmackDown, I actually do think they're 100%. And now that they officially announced that they are going to do the Freebird rule, and not a problem, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and now that's all they needed to do. I didn't need to see Bray Wyatt go like, Luke Harper, take this match, take my place, and team up with Randy Orton. I was like, no. No, the whole point is to have Bray Wyatt win a title. Bray Wyatt needs to be in the match. But to further the storyline and have it come full circle, get that 100% trust, you needed to have Luke Harper take a hit for Randy Orton. And he did. We got this match was standard.
It
wasn't anything great. Was standard acceptable wrestling. But the story that they had here between between the members of the Wyatt family is what drove this match and made it good for me.
Exactly. Same here.
I remember at the first initial time I was watching this match, I was like, okay, I have to quickly use the bathroom. Not because it's a whole pee break match type ordeal. It's just that I drank a lot of water. I really had to pee. The second I walked out, the match was over, and I was like, wow, that was relatively quick. I wonder... Oh, wait a minute. It's Heath Slater and Rhino versus a 12-time world champion Randy Orton and an up-and-coming champion Bray Wyatt. Of course this match is going to end pretty quick.
With Luke Harper on the outside. Yes. As much as I liked the pairing of Heath Slater and Rhino, it was time. And once again, as I said in the pre-show match, this thing is going better than anyone in the WWE could have hoped.
The Wyatt family? Absolutely.
Yes. So you need to strike while the iron is hot. And while it pushes down other teams in the process, this is, I think that this is a smart move. And what they did on SmackDown, build them up as like an unstoppable force, where even Bray Wyatt is like, here, Randy Orton, have this.
What did you think? Now, with all the response, like, oh, the Wyatt family now debuted a new finishing move. What are your thoughts on the Sister Abigail to RKO?
You know what? Maybe it's just the way Heath Slater took it, but I'm like, if they take it like that every time, it could actually be pretty good.
So, Sister RKO?
Sister
RKO?
It's like
I got nothing better.
That introducing that couldn't have gone any better with the way that Heath Slater took it. Like, he didn't stop moving once, and he twisted around in midair to catch the RKO square.
Well, he didn't twist. He basically got lifted up and just thrown into it
perfectly.
No twist or anything.
Did
you feel that?
Wow. Inside jokes.
So it's for the win.
It's one of those. It was a short match. The night after the show after, it was a short match too. It got the storyline across. It did what it needed to do. The Wyatt family has full trust in each other now.
It is a full
and they're being built as an unstoppable force.
And I'm loving every single second of it.
Finally,
Amen.
They are being built as the unstoppable force they should have been when they first arrived on the scene.
And that's why one reason of May why I'm hopeful about the tag division. So either way, I'm looking forward to whatever's happening next. But as far as next on the card, we've got our first women's match of the evening. Nikki Bella beating Carmella, and what can I say? I called it.
Was this a match?
I gotta say, okay, this was surprise of the night for me because I actually enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed it more than the other ladies' match later in the show. Maybe because they. there is such a thing as a stipulation adding to a match and a stipulation detracting from a match. Okay? They weren't hitting moves on each other. Okay, not really.
That's why I don't call this a match. It's just a segment.
It's a fight, which is what this was supposed to be. And it worked. It worked for me. I enjoyed this more than I thought that I ever would. Nikki Bella is in this match, and I enjoyed it. That's all I got. That's all I need to say.
I enjoyed this match too, but more for a different reason. Just because I just thought it was just so goddamn stupid. I was just be like, this is just stupid comedy. The ending of the match was mainly just a fire hydrant for 20 seconds, and I'm just okay. This is just me personally. I want someone to get a good fire hydrant shot to the face, and just right before the match ends, you just see this stuff is poisonous. Finishing move 1, 2, 3.
I kind of want that because using a fire extinguisher, it's freezing cold when it hits you. What if you're completely frozen and all that? They just hold it on you for 2 minutes.
That's a cartoon. It is a cartoon segment.
And you know what? Sometimes a cartoon segment is perfectly fine, even on pay-per-view. I had fun with this, and that's all I can say.
I had fun. I only had fun with it because it was just stupid. And with what you said, it was Eula enjoyed this match more than the later women's match. I just look at both of them as just equally as both as ridiculous. But I saw your face. It's not just because we got the prediction wrong.
It's not what I was implying in the slightest.
But yeah, I look at both. When it comes to the women's match in general, it was a segment to me. It didn't feel like a match. It didn't feel like a fight with what you said, Brian. It just felt like just a good. It wasn't even 10 minutes. A good less than 10 minute segment. And then just to progress the story. Oh no, Nikki, you may thought it was me who attacked you at Survivor Series, but it was not. But it wasn't. It was Natalya.
And you know it's gonna be neither of them. I feel a swerve coming on.
At least
it was me all along, Austin.
At this point, I'm just glad it didn't overstay its welcome. I was just over.
It didn't overstay its welcome, and that's why I enjoyed it instead of being like, ugh.
I wasn't. I was just like,
which is what
dumb.
Which is what the later match turned into for me at one point, where I was like, okay, this has gone on too long, and already.
Hey, but then again, we will get to that one too. In the meantime, you want to talk about palate cleanser? Let's talk about this next match. The Miz and Maurice defeated Dolph Ziggler in an Intercontinental title ladder match.
Here's what I take. Miz and Maurice defeated Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah,
it
happened.
No, here's what I take away from this match. Okay, Maurice didn't get involved.
She didn't. Not at all.
The Miz won by himself. Not kicking him in the balls twice, but it counts. Okay, it's a ladder match. It's fine. That's it. But it's a
good way that it didn't hurt Dolph. Well, kind of did, but you know what I mean. It didn't hurt Dolph Ziggler's character.
And the way the Miz sold the knee after he fell from that distance. It had the people I was watching me with actually concerned that he was actually hurt.
At first, I thought he was legit hurt too. I'm just like, oh no, that's not good. But as soon as he starts climbing the line, I'm like, oh, he's fine.
But it's like this.
He's an actor. He's good.
I'm gonna go with this as my match of the night.
I was actually gonna say the same thing.
Because there's. The other match had underlying circumstances that brought it down for me. You know what I'm talking about. We'll talk about it later.
Everyone knows what you're talking about.
This match was just a title ladder match blow off. This ended the feud. The Miz won clean. something we haven't seen in months. And it's what brings his character that much further into possible main event status. When you win a title blow-off match clean as a heel.
Well, as clean as it can be.
Using heel tactics, but basically clean. You didn't have anyone help you. You did it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and the match itself is great. The story of the match and a bunch of spots that I haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
In a ladder match. This was great stuff. Like, it had me on the edge of my seat. Like, there were times where I thought Ziggler was going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping he wouldn't. But there were times where I thought, this is the one match that had me on the edge of my seat throughout. And for that, it gets my match of the night. And it was, as The Miz would put it, awesome.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. Seriously, there's really nothing more I can add. And being a fan of the Intercontinental Championship, it is getting billed more prestige than the United States Championship right now.
Yeah, I really can't disagree with that in the slightest. While it wasn't personally, I can't fully say it was my pick for match of the night, even though it was definitely up there. It was still a ton of fun, and it definitely delivered on every single level. So anyway, after that slobber knocker, for lack of more precise terms.
Okay, just in case, I'm just gonna stop right now. You are hearing my daughter right now. I am now I'm babysitting my daughter right now. That's why she's just wandering around screaming in the background.
Special bonus commentary.
Oh, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And now she closed the door on me. Oh, you know what? Whatever. She's distracted.
All right. Speaking of things changing and moving on, we also have Baron Corbin defeating Kalisto in a chairs match. This one was strangely satisfying.
Here is the definition of a stipulation adding to a match, enhancing a match. Without the chairs, okay, the match was alright on SmackDown.
Well, but if they gave it more time, I think it would have been better.
But the match at TLC worked. I went into it.
Mm-hmm.
I went into it thinking that this was going to be that this was going to be the worst match of the night. I wasn't looking forward to it at all, and I came out pleasantly surprised. Also, with the way Baron Corbin took those chair shots. Okay, finally we have another legit badass. Okay, didn't lift his arms at all to take the brunt of the chair. Took the chair shots like a man, like nobody else does. And this match was brutal. It was.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the crap out of each other for 10 minutes.
That's what I liked about it, because they did good. They had good wrestling. They actually used the chairs to tell the story of their match a lot better than they did with Carmella and Nikki Bella. But the spot of that match had to be when Kalisto jumped off the turnbuckle and
Corbin through 6.
No. When he jumped off the turnbuckle and Corbin had the chair and used it as a clothesline to just take him out.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, he's dead. He
has a broken
face.
I also like Kalisto's jumping senton through the 6 chairs.
I like that too.
I was like,
that's
this,
mine, yeah.
And Baron Corbin, remember how much fun we used to make of him?
Yeah, yeah.
How much, look back then and look at him now.
They're actually starting to push him right.
Okay, the improvement is there. Just look at SmackDown. Look at SmackDown and the way he reversed that Hurricane Rana right into the end of days.
That was awesome.
That was crisp. That was fantastic. There was not, and it's like 6 months ago. There was no way that would have.
And that was this kind of dynamic done right, and it didn't. This match didn't overstay its welcome. It's a big man versus little man match with a little extra flavor in the chairs match stipulation. I thought this match was a ton of fun.
And the one thing I can say, okay, this put Baron Corbin over huge because there was no 50-50 booking. He beat his ass on TLC. He beat his ass on Smackdown. And now we can move on.
But you can't take anything away from Kalisto.
No.
You can't.
He had a great show.
This was both their match to show that they're both one more than the other. That they're both being pushed to be pushing a good singles run.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And moving on to our next match, we had Alexa Bliss defeating Becky Lynch to win the SmackDown Women's title in a tables match.
Going back to what I said about the last match, this is a tale of a stipulation gone horribly wrong. Okay? This is a title match that deserved regular wrestling. These two have shown that they can compete in a regular wrestling match and go out and have a 4-star match.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, you add in tables. You add in a table match. The stipulation stifles them. Okay? And the fact that it was 15 minutes long. No. I was bored halfway through and was like, someone put someone through a table already. I no longer care who wins. Just make it, just finish it. And when I am saying that to the TV, that is not good. And these are my two favorite women, and I'm telling them it's time to get off my TV. What does that mean?
I wouldn't go as that far to say like, oh my god, I'm so bored now, get off my TV. There was not as much tables, like real table action as I thought they were going to be in this one. They actually did a lot more wrestling, and I actually was enjoying it to an extent. I wasn't saying, oh, this is great. Yes, I did get bored at some spots, but I wasn't be like, oh my god, end the match already. More like, oh my god, Alexa Bliss actually is going to win this. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I say that is pretty much similar to what you said, Brian, that I wasn't upset that I wasn't upset to the fact that she won and I lost the prediction. Mm-hmm. It was just simply the fact that Alexa Bliss was Sheamused. And what I mean by that is that she won the title through a tables match, not because it's not. I did want her to win the title in a one-on-one match with no stipulations, secure pinfall victory. I look at this as just mainly as a cheap victory, and we all look at like I said with Sheamus with his first title win with a tables match. Granted, he won the title. It was an accidental fall through a table. This one, Alexa Bliss actually drove her through the table. It's a legit
move, yeah.
Yes.
So the fact still remains that, we're only making you win because it was a tables match, not because it was a straight-on one-on-one.
Alexa Bliss, what this match needed, this match did not need to be a tables match.
Well, they had
to put something as a tables match. So they chose this, but they chose the wrong match to make a tables match because in my eyes, these women need 15 minutes of straight up wrestling. They've showed that they can do it. And for Alexa Bliss's first title win, okay, it's not satisfying to me. And the fact that because it was a tables match and they weren't doing what they could do. They weren't showing everything that they could do. I will say it again. I got really bored.
Yeah, I really can't say I just don't agree with that sentiment. even though there were some times when I just sort of lost focus, that can happen with just about any match you can find on the card. As far as this one, it pretty much delivered on all my expectations for this match. I'm not just talking about just the result. It was a whole bunch of good wrestling.
I'm not messing with you.
I know. It wasn't just... There was plenty of wrestling. Yeah, there was that table stipulation. Even though it wasn't the cleanest win, it worked. To me, it works because Alexa Bliss is a heel, and it's the kind of thing that her character, at least, would conceivably do.
Oh,
so
I don't doubt it. It's understandable. It's just the whole fact that I like when they're with their first title win, but just mainly for the first title win. I would like it to be real earn victory, not just be like, okay, we're just going to give. Oh, the only way we can actually give you the title is if it's through a tables match.
Yeah, and again, just because there is that sort of transfer during a tables match, it doesn't necessarily mean that the match, or the title reign rather, is going to develop in the same way as a previous one did. Like, again, saying it, she got Sheamused. I understand what you're getting at. I'm just not fully convinced that it will progress the same way, and her first championship reign will be viewed in the same way that Sheamus's was.
I hope you're right.
This is pretty much the first time where we've all had different viewpoints on a match, like, ever.
It's like abstract art. It hurts your eyes, but you just can't look away.
Yeah, like, I didn't like it at all. You liked it, but didn't like...
There were aspects of it that I didn't. I was 50-50.
There were aspects of it you didn't like, and he liked it. I'm bored. You're disappointed, and he's like, goody. That's it.
Hey, extra points are extra points. I'm not gonna say no.
That's one way of looking at it. Goody. Now I'm just gonna go skip along. Goody.
Skip away with my points in hand. La-di-da-di-do.
Oh, bite me. you
Later.
Lousy point.
Anyway, moving on to our main event, we had AJ Styles defeat Dean Ambrose in a TLC match for the WWE World Title.
This was 29 minutes of greatness, followed by 2.5 minutes of complete...
What she said, complete da.
Complete da. I wanted to say something else, but we're in little territory.
Yes.
So that's it.
That would not be good.
So...
What we got is good 15 minutes of the phenomenal butthole.
Yes, and it looked like it was bleeding. It was awkward.
And the best part is like, oh, it has to be that part where Dean Ambrose driven through the chairs.
Oh yeah,
it had to be that moment because all of a sudden it's like, AJ Styles' butt.
Yeah,
it's a phenomenal butt.
This had the makings of a match of the year candidate. Really did. The kinds of stuff I've never seen before. Someone actually having the guts to set up a ladder on the announce table, to jump off of it and nail an elbow drop. I was like, I have never seen this before. This is awesome, and this. And then that 450, man.
That 450 was awesome.
That 450.
I think he face plant into the ground.
Oh yeah, he face planted into the ground on that 450. But
luckily Dean Ambrose broke his fall. But still, it's just like, oh, crash. Oh my god, flat.
And at that point, I'm like, dude, this might be like number 3 on my match of the year candidate list. This might and then after the 450, out comes what everybody knew was going to happen, but hoped it never would.
Mm-hmm.
James Ellsworth comes out to the ring, and automatically I'm like, all right, this just dropped to the bottom of the top 10. That's it.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I am going that far because there has never been this year going from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. Okay? That ending could have been done by AJ Styles. By himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? James Ellsworth didn't need... could have taken the night off. As he should have with that Styles clash that happened last week. Still, holy crap. Okay, that's it. But it's one of those, he comes down and automatically I'm like, this just dropped from a goat face to a full beard. I can't do it. I said that I was going to be pissed if James Ellsworth came out. I hope.
You guys remember my response to it last month? It was like, I really hope James Ellsworth doesn't come. You know what? Why am I talking about James Ellsworth? I hate James Ellsworth.
Well, guess what? He came out. Dean Ambrose hits the dirty deeds on the steel steps. You think it's done. He's climbing the ladder. Then all of a sudden AJ Styles shows up and you're like, oh, because he's standing there and he's kind of looking down and you're like, oh no. Is he at the bottom of the ladder? And then you look down and it's AJ Styles climbing the ladder and you're like, okay, we're still good. Okay, then he kicks AJ Styles off. And then all of a sudden you just see the ladder start to tip sideways and you're like, damn it.
Wait, did that happen? I don't remember AJ Styles getting in.
Yeah.
I thought it was just I thought
Nope.
he just hit the dirty deeds, climbs up, and Ellsworth pushed.
No. AJ Styles did get up and climb the ladder. Dean Ambrose kicked him off and he rolled to the outside of the ring on the opposite side of where the dirty deeds was hit. He was by the announce table. And then and then the ladder starts to tin. You're like, so, and the moment that ladder started to tip, I was like, this match drops from, if we were doing a number rating, this match drops from a 10 to a 9. I can't.
9's pretty good though.
9's pretty good
because the match itself was great.
The match itself was great, but there are some times where a finish just pisses me off enough to make it miss that legendary status and take it out of my top 5 of the year. And that happened with this match. That ending with, instead of James Ellsworth, okay, Dean Ambrose hits the dirty deeds on the steel steps. Dean Ambrose is climbing to get the title. Okay, AJ Styles pushes the ladder over. Dean Ambrose goes through 3 tables. AJ Styles wins. Bam! Match of the year candidate. It's done. But no, the Chinless Wonder gets involved, and no.
I'm actually to an extent I'm gonna second that. Now I'm gonna kind of tag myself in. I'm gonna pull the heel tag on this one because. Oh my god. And now he's going to start a mini feud with James Ellsworth to close out the year. To me, this is the equivalent of saying Mankind Mick Foley, because Mankind actually won the title. He lost the title, he's just about to gain it back, and then all of a sudden he loses it and starts a mini feud with Gillberg. It is that equivalent.
And let's... No, there is no on this.
You really think James Ellsworth is in a higher level than Gillberg?
I didn't say that.
And let's okay. I said this to my buddy who I was watching it with. I was like, if Dean Ambrose doesn't go full lunatic fringe on James Ellsworth and end his career on live TV.
He's never had a career to begin. He's never had a contract to begin with.
Then this entire thing is bullshit. Especially now after Smackdown, where he screwed him out of the Intercontinental title too. If he doesn't murder James Ellsworth on live TV, then this entire thing is bullshit. AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose could have been great. on its own. A little one-on-one feud that went 4 months long. Didn't involve James Ellsworth. Didn't involve any of that. But no, one of the great feuds of our time could have been as been a clown feud.
Well, here's the way I see it. As good of a match this is, if the only wrong thing that happened was James Ellsworth came in, that just tells me whatever. I have to believe that was a deliberate choice.
Oh yeah, no doubt it was a deliberate choice.
But to what end? And I believe
Dean Ambrose turning heel, maiming James Ellsworth, and pissing off Shane McMahon enough in the process that we get Dean Ambrose versus Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, which is apparently in the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a possible chance at a storyline through this, but I do not like the way they went about it. I'm like, you could have done something with the way Dean Ambrose acted at Survivor Series, almost screwed Team SmackDown. Shane McMahon's pissed. Dean Ambrose doesn't care. Shane McMahon crosses the line. Dean Ambrose hurts him badly, turns heel in the process, and we get the match at WrestleMania. We didn't need any of this James Ellsworth bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm sorry.
There are some times, as I said before, there are some times where the ending of the match taints the match itself. For me, this is one of those times.
I'm
not a big
second that.
Not a big taint. Okay, the match was great enough itself to it will withstand the test of time. Just know that there's a whole bunch of bullshit at the end that could potentially piss you off if you watch it for the first time in a few years from now.
And the fact that it makes you ignore the fact that most of the match we were looking at AJ Styles' butt. And you don't even care.
And some of the most innovative stuff you have ever seen in a TLC match. And then this chinless asshole comes down to the ring. And then you're like, oh. It's like, it's gonna it's gonna happen, but you're hoping it's not, and when it does, you're just like, oh. And that's not good for me. So that's why it dropped out of my match of the night.
Okay then, so
for the BS ending.
This one match alone, or notwithstanding rather, what would you give the show as a whole facial hair ratings? 1 to 5, go.
I will go full beard.
I second that,
because
honestly.
I would have gone with a low goat face. But the tables match bored me. And the ending of the TLC match just pissed me off enough where I was angry at the end of the show, and I don't like to be angry at the end of the show, so it goes down. It goes down to a full beard. But this is the best brand-only pay-per-view that we've had since the beginning of the brand split. And of course it was a Smackdown show. So yeah, I feel confident in a full beard. There was nothing egregiously wrong, just a stipulation that didn't need to be added to a match, and an ending to an amazing match that pissed me off enough to taint the ending of the show for me.
Yeah, I gotta give it a full beard also, mostly because it was a lot better than I was expecting. I went into this show with sort of minimal expectations, getting something a little bit minimal, run of the mill even, but even then, I was really satisfied with the results of these matches, the execution notwithstanding. I still had a good time with it. Full beard.
I'm gonna give it a full beard as well, and it's really pretty much everything Brian said. I agree. I second. Like, I didn't hate the women's matches. I just looked at them as kind of like comedy jokes. And yes, I was upset about the stipulation, but it wasn't because of the match. It was just because of where I'm thinking it'll go. But when it came to the match itself, I actually didn't hate it. When it came to the event, I didn't hate it very much. It was good. It wasn't great. I was really having fun with these matches. And yeah, that James Ellsworth ending it hurt. It hurt me. I wasn't a fan of it at all. I'm not a fan of James Ellsworth. I just look at him as just the one-trick pony that just kept doing the same trick over and over and over again to try and get people to buy his shirt, which surprisingly enough is succeeding because the WWE audience is stupid, and I'm actually including myself into that because I have stupid moments. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect.
The minute they started going, "Let's go, Jobber," you knew something was gonna happen. But,
well, the difference with "Let's Go Jobber" is that they were chanting it for every person that they were giving Braun Strowman.
But it started with Mr. Chinless. So
there's no way any of us could have known.
All I can say is they better give James Ellsworth and AJ Styles a title match on SmackDown and not have it be a title match at Royal Rumble.
I highly doubt that.
I want Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles to team up one time. Just to beat the crap out of James Ellsworth.
I'd be happy with an interpretation of the finger poke of doom for this one. It's like, oh yeah, I've been actually friends with AJ Styles all along. Yeah, and then bye-bye, never see you again. Dean Ambrose comes in and Hassan's James Ellsworth.
Dean Ambrose comes in, turns heel, and just annihilates James Ellsworth.
As much as I want to see Dean Ambrose turn heel, I know he's going to eventually, because duh, it has to.
I think he's run his course as a face, especially if
maybe
they're just
after
going to keep him doing the comedy segments. It's
exactly
right.
It's just one of those things where I think now the comedic Dean Ambrose needs to go by the wayside. He's been screwed over one too many times, and now this pipsqueak is the one doing it. No, this will be the perfect time to actually showcase said lunatic fringe. Take him out emphatically on live TV.
Oh yeah,
and then in fact, do it Kane style. Okay, do like segments throughout the night. Everywhere James Ellsworth goes, Dean Ambrose is lurking in the background.
Yeah, make it like an ongoing part of an episode.
And then in the main event, just the annihilation of James Ellsworth in the middle of the ring by Dean Ambrose finally taking his revenge.
But do you see that turning him heel? That's the question. Do you really see that being a point where he's turning heel? I actually...
Probably not.
Probably not, but then when he does it to Shane McMahon afterwards...
I can be perfectly honest. I see Shane McMahon turning heel before Dean Ambrose. I could see it being the heel authority figure.
Yeah, this is definitely going somewhere. And it's far from the end of the road. As far as the show as a whole, I dug it.
Oh, I dug it too.
Yeah, definitely dug it, but had some flaws.
Now, before we close out, we got you drop the regular question on everybody. Raw versus SmackDown. Which one was the better show this week?
I'm actually going to be perfectly honest. I'm actually going to go with Raw. But only... oh, bless you. Only slightly. Because, to be perfectly honest, both shows weren't really that good.
It's very true. The only reason I'm going with SmackDown is because
she disagrees with you.
The epic case that I'm just watching Raw, and all I'm thinking is same old shit. We're getting Charlotte versus Sasha Banks again.
Yeah, right.
Ric Flair comes out, and Charlotte makes him cry. again.
Actually,
like Chris Jericho loses to Roman Reigns again. That's it. There was some good development. There was some good development in the Kevin Owens Chris Jericho storyline, and there was good development in certain storylines like the Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins thing. Okay, but there's still the case of too much of the same old shit. New Day, Cesaro, Sheamus, the Club. We're gonna get a triple threat match. Ooh, that's it.
Yeah,
but it's although I will agree that neither show was that great, but there was enough new on SmackDown for me to look past its not so great qualities.
For me, Raw, they both were boring. They both weren't very good. But I just found myself to be more intrigued of where they're going storyline. With more storylines with Raw than with SmackDown. Like, one thing, I'm actually intrigued of what they're going to do with the triple threat tag team. And now this is going to be a little fantasy booking for me. I actually want either Cesaro or Sheamus or the Club to take the pin. Or to take the win. And pin each other to where the New Day gets their demolition record taken away from them and they weren't involved with the pin.
That would actually be fantastic.
And that they would actually reach the point where it would just snap at them because that's the thing that they're going for. And from what I saw with like the Raw Fallout that's on the WWE YouTube is them's like, oh, they both got disqualified. Did they both get title matches? No, we're trying to beat the record. This is our moment type of ordeal. And to have that moment taken away from them and they weren't involved with it, I actually think that would be great development for them. And kind of slowly turn them back to being like heelish.
I agree. But yeah, this one was a split decision for me. I'm convinced that they're just more of in a holding pattern until the Royal Rumble, and then that's when everything kicks off in a major way all over again. Because
I don't think SmackDown is going to further storylines for the Royal Rumble until after Roadblock.
Yeah.
So SmackDown is going to be in the holding pattern for next week too. So expect that to be a lower quality show.
I'm just looking forward to who's going to face The Miz next for the Intercontinental Championship.
They're doing triple threat matches on the house show cards with Dean Ambrose and Ziggler. So
interesting, but I kind of don't want it.
Well, again,
new blood, man, new blood.
The real question is, who's going to face Styles at the Royal Rumble?
Hey, you know what? I have no idea.
God, why?
Don't even
because
go there.
I want to be the asshole that closes the show.
Well, you
love it.
All right. Well, you heard our opinions, such as they are. Now it's time to let us know what you think. Leave us a comment in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you hear. Subscribe if you want to hear more every single week. You can also, of course, follow us on our Twitter pages. Fool, where can they reach you at?
You can find me at The Avataric.
Brian?
At Atomic Beanpole.
And I'm Robbie Rage, all one word, no apostrophe.
You keep messing up. Just say just one word.
Just one. Well, I didn't mess it up. I
yes,
gave factually accurate information, didn't I?
Oh, you could have just ended with just one word and it would have been perfect. But you had to add that little hyphen, whatever.
Apostrophe.
Crap.
You did so well last week.
Because he said all one word. He didn't add any more to it.
Hey, it's my Twitter name. I can do what I want. But you know what isn't my own Twitter name? Our main Scholars Twitter page at ScholarsOW. And of course, you can also find us on Facebook under the Scholars of Wrestling Show. Like us. We're fun.
And the last few weeks I've been taking place, I have been in a WWE 2K17 tournament that Improv Gaming does every year, and it just finished on Monday with a unsurprising victor. So that should be up on YouTube in the days to come at Improv Gaming. Check that out. See who won. You probably won't be surprised if you watched the last couple of years.
Hey, yeah, definitely check that out. Shout out to our boys at Improv Gaming. Meanwhile, you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
James Ellsworth as WWE Champion.